Welcome to the Virtual College Exploration for all North and South Carolina students, presented by the Carolinas Association of Collegiate Registrars and Admissions Officers and StriveScan. We appreciate you all joining us today. Just a few housekeeping items before we get underway. You can use the Q&A button to ask questions of our presenters at any time. Your camera and microphone have been turned off, so the presenters cannot see or hear you. This is just one of many sessions that will be going on for the next several weeks, and you can view a full schedule at CACRAO.org. That's CACRAO.org. This presentation is being recorded and will be made available for you to view on demand at that same website, CACRAO.org. I'd now like to turn it over to our presenters.
Thank you, Mr. Cash. Hi, everybody. My name is Corey Truax, and I am the Associate Director for Enrollment Operations up at North Greenville University. We are in Tigerville, South Carolina, just about 20 minutes or so north of downtown Greenville. What I have prepared for you for these 45 minutes or so is I've got a couple introductory thoughts for you, and then we're going to be joined by one of our faculty members, someone who works with our campus ministry and student engagement office, and then finally a recent alum who also started working here part-time recently, and we want to hear from that student perspective. Students who are here, I see several of you now. Certainly you can submit questions. We're glad to take those live as we go. I'll be monitoring that Q&A function down there at the bottom of your screen if you want to ask questions as we go. And then certainly if we need to get in touch after this at ngu.edu, you can find any of us, and we're glad to help with those follow-up questions. So here's just my opening introduction. If you don't know much about North Greenville, or if you're here right now and you're attending and maybe you've even already applied or been accepted, I want you to know who we are. So here's what we say of ourselves. We have a mission statement that says we equip transformational leaders for society and the church. And every little word of that matters. So this we equip, and sometimes we say prepare or cultivate. We have built systems and structures. We built an environment to do something for students. We equip students. We're a student-focused institution. We want to see you succeed. And so as we are student-focused, that is hiring a particular faculty and providing for you an environment of support, surrounding you with other excellent students who will challenge you, spur you on to do well. We're providing an environment to equip you. And in that way, we are all about students. It's one of the things I love most about us is our mission's pretty clear. We're here for you. We want to see you do well, but it doesn't end there. So we are equipping students because we're for you, but it's not just for you. It's for society and the church. So here's our statement. We think we need you out there, guys. We think the world really does need some excellent, high integrity, intelligent young men and women to go out into every field. Like we maybe desperately need you out there in every field, not just the churches of America that need good theology, but we need you in doctors' offices and examination rooms and hospitals. And we need you in marketing offices, and we need you in the boardroom. We need you on Wall Street. We need you out in Hollywood making movies. We need you in Nashville making music. We need you everywhere. We need folks throughout the economy and the culture from a Christian perspective. And so we are doing it for you because we want you to go make a living. We want you to go serve your community, serve a family. We want you to have fulfillment and success. But it's not just you. We actually think we can love our neighbor as ourselves. We can help the world around us by educating with excellence young people to go out into the world. So that's who we are. We do that also through four of our core values that we say we are academically excellent, biblically faithful, that we are mission focused, and Christ-centered. Those are the four. I almost forgot a very important one, the Christ-centered one. And so we're going to talk about those as we go. So with that, I'm going to bring in Dr. Halterwinger. If you want to unmute yourself, we're going to talk about that academic excellence together. Dr. Halterwinger, if you would start just by introducing yourself and where you came from and how long you've been at North Greenville.
Welcome. We're so glad to be with you today. My name is Christine Halterwinger. I am the Associate Dean of the School of Health and Wellness. I am the Department Chair of Health Science at North Greenville University. I've been here just over 11 years. We have seen departments grow from 5 students to 150 students. So we're really excited about what God has in store for us. So my background is actually in biology and health and human services, but my terminal degree, my doctorate is in public health. So that's my expertise area.
And do I recall from I think I've heard you tell your story a couple times. You went to some big name brand universities. That's your background?
I did Clemson for my undergraduate. I did USC Columbia for my master's, and then Georgia for my doctorate. So I'm used to big public schools, but I tell you, we have something so special at our school, and it would be a blessing if my children chose to go to North Greenville.
So let's start with that distinction. One of the words we like to use, our provost here, Dr. Finn, likes to use the term academic discipleship. That when a student comes to North Greenville, they're going to be discipled academically. So what does that mean to you when you hear that word?
Absolutely. And you just led on to it a moment ago. Discipleship, we really use it as a platform for our faith and for spreading the good news of the gospel. We can do this message of love and redemption that Christ has shared with us through our training as a doctor or our training as a history professor. We have students coming out of health science that are going into a very secular world, and they can be that light in the world. So it's not just missionaries. It doesn't begin and end with just pastoralship or with being a missionary. We send our students everywhere. We, of course, do have those that go on to be in the mission field with their clinical degree, perhaps. But we know that just being a Christian as ourselves, with that layer of academic excellence, we know that we can create just well-rounded, skilled professionals that we so badly need.
When I started here, I was a student here from 04 to 08, I will admit, I thought, how hard could it be? It's a little Christian college in South Carolina. And then this place humbled me quite quickly, that I found out I wasn't that smart and I had to work actually quite hard. So can we talk for a second, if you would talk to students about expectations, that an education, the rigor of North Greenville, what we're going to expect from students when they get in the classroom?
Absolutely. To be completely honest, we're dealing with adults at this point. So we do not really want to, not that we won't welcome parents in the discussion, but we are dealing with adults now in our student base. So we have to remember that although we do provide just incredible resources for success in the classroom, because just as you said, our success is our student success. So we do have free tutoring. We do have all types of resources, but students have to ask for them. They have to go seek out those resources. They have to introduce themselves to their professors. They have to really be their own advocate. We are so blessed that your advisor, your academic advisor, is actually your campus advocate, is who we refer to them as, because we don't want you to feel like you're alone at all in this new academic world. But let's face it, you're adults now. That's literally how you're seen legally. So you have to bring all of your tips and tricks that you've learned through school, your study habits, your time management skills. There's a reason why we are so competitive in the workplace, and it's because we demand so much of our students here at the undergraduate level. I will tell you that we have students in master's and doctoral programs at MUSC, so the Medical University of South Carolina, or USC. We've got them at Clemson. And I actually got a really fantastic letter from the department chair of the doctorate program of physical therapy from Anderson University. And they said that our graduates, no matter what they threw at them, they not only met the expectation, they exceeded it with maturity and professionalism.
Awesome.
So that's what we're demanding of our students, and we do demand it. We teach classes at very high pace, but again, we provide you with those services and those resources so that we are giving you the best chance possible.
There's two parts of that I'd highlight. There's such set of students that want to be challenged. They want the rigor of this place. And I want them to know we will give it to you. That's something that we'll provide. You'll be challenged so that you can go out and succeed, because we know the world's hard. The world's challenging. So we've got to provide an environment where you're challenged and then can overcome it. But that's the thing I love about North Greenville, is we have really high standards, and then we give you every resource you need to meet our standard. But we're not lowering the standard, because that's good for you if we'll keep the standard high. And then another one you said that I wanted to highlight. about having to speak up, introduce yourself, I've said this in North Greenville for many years. We are incredible problem solvers. We are terrible mind readers. So if you don't tell us, if you don't speak up, we can't do anything for you. So here's that next question then. So there's these high achievers. I want you to know that we can help you, and we can give you what you need to be challenged. But maybe some students will hear this now or later and think, well, I don't know if I'm up for that challenge. Can you talk to that student who thinks, well, what kind of help can I expect? What kind of resources are available to me?
You know, that's one of the things that I like to brag about the most, actually, because I did go to the bigger schools. I went to the chemistry classes with 300 other kids. We were known quite literally by the last 4 digits of our social security number. That's actually how we were known. We make it a point to get to know our students. We have an open door policy, and I cannot tell you how many times I have seen professors, because I'm mostly in the sciences, so I have seen professors working till well after their office hours on their whiteboard in their office until the student gets it. You know, we have math labs that are absolutely at no cost to the student. All of our advising and tutoring services are 100% free at no cost, and they have to be passed forth by the professors themselves. So it can't be someone that says, I know how to do anatomy. No, Dr. Foster, Dr. Knepp have to sign off that you know how to do their anatomy classes. So it just really, it's a different level. We're there to meet you where you are and to bring you to that competitive level. You know, when you get out there in the workplace, we need you to stand alone on your critical thinking skills and how to, you know, make the best of your resources. It's not going to help us to not bring you to that level and make you competitive in the classroom. And because of that, we're going to demand a lot of you in the classroom and even outside. But another thing that I really like to mention is, because we truly care about our students and we have some phenomenal team sports, we also work very well with the athletic departments. The athletic coaches, they know us, we know them. And, you know, if I don't see someone that I know needs to be eligible for, say, football or baseball, and they haven't been going to my class, we actually have special services designed to go check in on that student. Maybe something's happened. Maybe grandma is in horrible shape physically. Maybe something's weighing on their heart. Whatever it is, we're going to get down to it, because that's just the first alert, maybe, that you weren't in class. But we care about you, your coaches care about you, and we are all an integrated group to help you to succeed, not just academically or athletically, but to be a well-rounded Christian. By the time you leave, that's our goal. But if we could just help you in your walk with Christ, along with the academics and athletics, we're doing our job.
Yeah, that's another emphasis I feel like we do have, not just North Greenville, but there is some emphasis on growing up here, that
Yes.
it's not just smart for the sake of smart. It is smart for the sake of your job and your career, but also growth for the sake of being an adult out in the world, where we don't have an environment where you can stay a child. I have one more thing I want to ask of you, students. If you have questions, that Q&A function at the bottom of your screen, feel free to put those in. I can handle those questions at any time. Final thing for you is your programs over there are some of our largest, most successful, and I know at least one of the students watching right now is interested in something inside the medical world. So can you just highlight for me what's going on over with health sciences and biology, and what do you offer?
So that's actually a fantastic question. When I started here, just again, over 11 years ago, I believe our department had 10 students in it, and we had 2 faculty members.
Wow.
Now we're hovering right between 130 to 150 students. Wow. We've had tremendous growth. But what we are most proud of has been, we have about 50% of students that seek graduate degrees or professional degrees. Some of them are clinical, some non-clinical. But we're really proud of our internships. We have internships and partnerships with local organizations here in the upstate that really set the path for success. We have students in Michelin. We have students at St. Francis, at Prisma. We've got students at United Ministries, which we're very proud of, or the Taylor's Free Medical Clinic, where they come through not only our program, but we immediately try to get them some field experience, because it's not just what you learn in the classroom. But we have to get you ready and, again, marketable, to where you know procedures, you know different policies that are in the workplace, you know how to work in a professional way. And that's also growing your network, which is so important. So we're really proud. We have right now about 87% acceptance across the board into graduate programs first time.
Wow.
So what that means is they're not just looking for the Clemson graduates or the USC graduates. I had a program leader today, and I was asking this brilliant professor, I said, when is your deadline for your graduate program? And she said, goodness gracious, send me your graduates.
Aww.
Because she knows they're ready. They're ready for the program. They're ready for the rigor. And just all these opportunities that we have with research and with research in both biology and health science, by the way, it's really taken off. And we are going to give 1,000% to our students, and whatever they dream up, we're going to give them our total self to help them to do it with every resource we have, to make sure that they're getting that true experience. But again, they are the ones that are out in the work field, in the workforce. So if you don't show up at Michelin, we treat that like a job. They expect you to be there. And our students, after they graduate, you have over 400 hours of field experience. And students from other undergraduate programs in the Southeast do not have that. So again, that remains our competitive advantage. Not only are we advanced in our degree program, and we have the rigor academically, but we're offering something in the marketplace to where they're saying, oh my goodness, you've already done program planning at Prisma with how many employees?
Yeah.
You know, so that's something that we're really proud of. And you know, really our network is North Greenville's network, and we're wanting to really grow that and blossom it. And we have great affiliation agreements. I want to mention those really quickly because we're proud of them. We have USC Upstate. They hold 6 seats in their nursing program for health science and biology students. That's pretty unheard of in the nursing field right now. We have a bridge program, an affiliation agreement with Palm Beach Atlantic, with their pharmaceutical program. We have engineering program, pre-engineering here at North Greenville, and you transfer and finish up at Clemson. So we're really fostering those relationships with not just nonprofits and business organizations, but also with other schools and universities.
Good. Dr. Halterwinger, thank you for taking the time today. Appreciate it very much.
Thank you.
She and I both have unique names, and because of that, you can find us very easily on the website. If you have other questions for faculty or particularly about health sciences, feel free to sign off here. I'm sure you've got plenty of things to do, and we're going to bring in Mr. Connor Graves if you want to start turning your stuff on. Thank you, Dr. Halterwinger. Mr. Graves, let's actually let me do one quick reset thing. Students who are here, if you have questions, if you want to ask those, I'll bring those up into the Q&A here. Mr. Graves, let's get your background. Where are you from, man? And how'd you get to North Greenville?
Yeah, it's a great question. Thank you for having me on. Appreciate that. Excited to talk to you guys. I am actually from Alabama. So I grew up in North Alabama my entire life. I did my undergrad at Auburn University, so also a big state school, so similar. And yeah, I'm currently pursuing a master's at Southeastern Seminary and just joined the staff at North Greenville in June. So I might be the newest employee on campus. I don't know. There may be some people that started in August, but brand new to the school and glad to be here.
And being the new guy, you're brave, man, to go ahead and come out here and start telling us a part of campus that's quite large. I mean, we just talked about academics. That's the first thing we are. We're an academic institution, but we are about developing the whole person. And right. You're part of the office here that we call Christian Ministry and Student Engagement. We're going to break that down a little bit into all of its pieces. But you have just a general, a minute or so about just the philosophy of having such an office, what its purpose is on campus.
Absolutely. So yeah, you said it well. A huge part of the college experience is what happens outside the classroom, and just the fact that you're being formed and developed as a person and an adult, as was even discussed before, in so many ways, spiritually and relationally and emotionally and mentally and all those things. And so really our department is pretty broad and really covers a lot of those areas, and just trying to really help disciple and shape and form and equip students, even just along with our mission, to be healthy in all those different areas of life, and just have an enjoyable and fulfilling college experience in those areas.
I want to talk about what that looks like on campus through campus events and from in student ministry, what's offered. But this now, it occurs to me, since you're not from here, and I think one of the reasons to go to North Greenville is because of what the upstate of South Carolina offers with what the Greenville offers to people. And so for students who are watching this now or watching it later that are not from here, can you talk about that for a second, the advantage that this area brings and what you have found since you've gotten here?
Yeah, sorry about my phone ringing there. I thought I muted it. So yes, this is such a unique environment, such a great area. Like I've loved even just the past 3 months living in the Greenville area and going on some great hikes and state parks and all those things. I've loved being in this part of the country. It's my first time living in South Carolina. Like I'm brand new. So
yeah,
I love this part of the state. I love what North Greenville offers. And just that, and it was hit on earlier, but just that the great advantage of having somewhat of a smaller campus is that real familial environment where, you know, we really do know students by name, and we see their faces every day, and we're able to really develop those relationships. And I mean, like I said, I'm brand new. I've been with students a month, and I feel like I already know, you know, half the campus. So I love that environment.
So when we are developing the whole person, let's actually put some specificity to the systems that we use. So let's start with the fun stuff. So campus activities, campus events. What would you highlight to students that when I'm not doing schoolwork, here's what I can do for fun?
Absolutely. So yeah, our student activities department, or our team in our department, does a great job of putting on events, not just like the one-time events, you know, that are big and huge, like, you know, maybe homecoming or orientation when those first couple of weeks that you're on campus. There's all kinds of activities, but even like something small, we call Treat Yourself Thursday. We've been starting that tradition in our office. And so we just have snacks laid out in our office, in our lobby, where students can stop by every Thursday, just grab a treat to treat yourself because you deserve it. And then take it with you. And usually we're blaring music and just having a good time. So there's little things, you know, that happen every week, different activities on the weekend, but then there's also those bigger events. Maybe it's a movie night or something like that our team throws.
Yeah, if you're gonna have Parks and Rec references, I'm in, man. I didn't know you had
a Parks and Rec quote. Yeah, on my letterboard earlier. So
it makes me I wish I could participate. Can staff participate and Treat Yourself Thursday?
Absolutely.
I should come over.
Yes.
One of the other ones I wanted to highlight there, especially if you have a background with us, the students who are watching this now or later, it's actually quite unique that we're a Baptist university that offers 2 dances a year. I know at Auburn, having some kind of that kind of social setting, totally normal. But at a Baptist college, actually, it's quite unique that we offer those for some fun stuff. So Greenville offers you a ton to do on campus. We want to make sure that you have the infrastructure of things to go do, including athletics. I think that's not something you guys oversee, but that kind of environment in a non-COVID world where we can all go watch sports is a lot of fun as well on campus. So there's the campus event part. I want to save the ministry part for last. Your office also oversees resident life, what it's like to live here in a dorm. So what kind of expectations can students have? What would you tell them about living at North Greenville?
Yeah, so all students live on campus, and I love that we're all here together. And actually this year is the first time that we have designated certain residence halls for freshmen. And so all of the freshmen are living within a few specific halls. So you would be surrounded by fellow freshmen in your class, which I think we've already seen the fruit of that, of freshmen just being able to really connect quickly and establish those relationships with other students that are in the same place and figuring out the same things together. And so that's really cool. You've got an RA that is assigned to your hall. That's a resident assistant. And so they're through our res life office, and they are there to really just help you in whatever you need and check up and make sure you're, you know, clean, keeping your room clean and all those kind of things as well.
Yeah.
And then they do different activities as well through residence life. So they might have a hall, you know, some kind of hall activity or outing or something like that every month or so that's specifically with your residence hall. So they even do some things like that.
If you have an experience like this from your own life, I'd even love to hear it. But I think the residence life experience is an undervalued formative part of life. That we're trying to formulate you. Like I said, we make transformational leaders. What happens here is transformation. One of the ways we do that was with Dr. Halterwenger with academics. It's rigor, it's challenge. But the dynamics of living with somebody, sharing space, and learning the skills to navigate that, I think it's quite formative, and it's a thing that we do intentionally here. So do you agree with that?
Absolutely. And yeah, I mean, you're right. I had that exact same experience in my college experience, sharing that, what seems like so tiny space with another person, and really developing. One of the huge skills I think it develops is conflict resolution. You really learn to be able to talk about things like, hey, your clothes are on my side of the room or whatever.
Yeah.
Be able to work through those issues together, and then also just learning like how to really develop relationships. Like that is an opportunity to really get to know somebody very well.
Last thing on residence life, one of the conversations I have with students fairly often is there are some students they're super excited about it, like they can't wait to move out, to go be an adult. But there are some students nervous. So any kind of counsel you would give to a student who's like, I don't know about moving away, for far away, because like here you are on an adventure, man, you're far from home. So what kind of confidence would you give students about making that move?
Moving to college, you're saying? Yes, absolutely. I get that. I was more on the end of like, I'm ready to get out and get to college, but I get that there's just a lot of nerves and uncertainty in making a transition like that. But what I found, being a few years removed from college now and looking back, college is just a unique season. Like post-grad life gets a bad rap, and it's great too, but it's true that there is no season like those years in your undergrad at college where you get to just really cultivate. I think the biggest thing for me is relationships. Like when I look back on my college experience, it's the people that I developed those deep relationships with that I'm still great friends with now. And res life is a huge part of that, but even just the campus life, as you get connected with churches or in the area or different things like that, it's that unique opportunity to build deep rooted relationships.
I say to students all the time that something you'll learn in life is if you're with the right people, everything's fun. Everything's a blast. It can be a boring night doing board games, but it's a blast if you're with the right people. And equally, if you're with the wrong people, nothing's fun. Disney World is ruined if you're with the wrong people.
True.
It's one of the things about North Greenville is to decide: are you one of us? Are we a place where you can feel like you find your people? Because if you do, there's some thriving to be had there. So final topic for you, sir. You're actually in the ministry office. That's where you work, and it's a huge part of who we are. I told everybody earlier we have those 4 pillars of who we are. Academic excellence was one, but then it's Christ-centered, mission-focused, biblically faithful. The core of who North Greenville is a Christian institution. So can you talk about what campus ministry offers to students to add to their student experience?
Absolutely. So yeah, at North Greenville, definitely, you have some schools that maybe slap a Christian label on their name, and that is not North Greenville. We are unapologetically about shaping people to love Jesus Christ and to live faithfully in accordance to him and his word. And so we want to do that as a campus ministries team on campus. And so it's this weird balance where we super value local churches and we want students plugged into local churches. So if you're moving from far away, we want you to find a church here in the Greenville area and plug in there and be involved there. But we also realize you're spending the majority of your time during the week on campus here. And so we want to have a presence here on campus to be able to walk with you and help even disciple you in what it looks like to grow in your walk with the Lord on your own. Some of you are going to be figuring that out for yourself for the first time. And so we want to help with that and walk alongside you. So we have different meetings, like BCM meets every Thursday night, has a worship. We got FCA for athletes every Friday. Chapel meets twice a week. Is that kind of some spiritual nourishment, but then also we keep our doors open. Our office is always filled with students. We've got people coming by all the time that just come and sit down and be like, hey, I'm wrestling with this spiritual issue, or maybe I'm really struggling with this thing in my life. Can you really just help me walk through that? And so that's our job. And that's why I'm here and what I get excited about.
particularly with you ministry guys, I will say your accessibility to people is it's the most on campus. Your willingness just for no appointment, just walk in the door, and I love that about you guys that you're available. We're gonna move here to our next participant. But Connor, thanks for giving us time today. If you want to sign off, if you have questions about campus ministry, again, you can post those to the Q&A. You can find Connor on our website, ngo.edu. Just look for Connor Graves. You will find him there. Connor, thanks for the time, sir.
Yes, thank you guys so much.
See you, brother. And then finally here, Megan, if you can unmute yourself and turn your, hi, there she is, Megan Miller. And so again, for the students who are here live, if you have questions, you can use that Q&A function at the bottom. For those watching later, you can find us all on the website. So we're glad to help with follow-up questions. I have Megan here in two capacities. One, she's a recent North Greenville alum, and two, she recently took a job here. So we want to talk about first the job. Megan, we'll start here. How's your day at work going?
It's good. I was kind of struggling with the Zoom, but here we go. We got it now, so it's all good.
We got to figure it out. It's that North Greenville education of yours. You were able to get it solved.
Yeah, definitely.
You work for something new here called NGU Central.
Yep.
And so tell students what NGU Central is and why we created it.
Yes, so NGU Central is one building. So there was, past couple of years, you went around campus to go to student accounts, financial aid, registrar. So now it's all in one building. So it's kind of good for students. So if they have any kind of questions or anything like that, we can either direct them to a financial aid counselor or to registrar or something like that. And it's all in one building, so we don't have to really send students all across.
Yeah. I experienced North Greenville the same way you did, where to accomplish much of anything required burning like 500 calories because of having to go to the various places on campus. And it's one of the things I mentioned earlier as we got started. We are a student-focused institution. And one of the things that we know is true is college is hard. So if college is going to be something of a stress, interacting with North Greenville should not be a stress. It should be very easy. And so we have intentionally created systems to make it easier when you need to interact with us. And that's what NGU Central does for students here on campus. Megan, I am actually much more interested in you as a recent alum. Can you remind me when you graduated from North Greenville and what you studied here?
Yeah, so I graduated in 2019. And I studied sport management. So I took, anything from like sport law to, just intro to sport management. So I loved that. I also played on the golf team. So that kind of incorporated just a little bit. So I was an athlete here, and I also played JV basketball too. And so I guess I used that to kind of continue my little story and things like that. I was a second assistant golf pro at the Cliffs Valley. So that's where it led me. And then I'll probably continue that road here after I get my MBA here in a little bit and go from there.
Are you working on your MBA with North Greenville?
I am.
Very cool. All right. So we're working on a master's as well. So student experience, you mentioned the golf team, and we have not talked a ton of athletics yet. Can you talk a little bit about athletic environment, or maybe how athletes support each other, or talk about athletic life when you're a student athlete?
Yeah, so of course, it's always kind of like high school. You got your athletic people, and then you got your other little people there. But so the athletes are really close, no matter if you are on the football team to you're on the tennis team, you're on the track team. I mean, we are all super close. We all connect in different ways because I guess we have that common ground of like, hey, we all went to workouts and we're stressed out and, but actually it's kind of fun. This is like the best thing ever. I wouldn't change it for the world. And, we all kind of just come close, and it's the best thing that was at North Greenville for me, at least for the athletic part. I couldn't imagine myself going anywhere else. We'd travel and we would see other teams and we'd be like, man, North Greenville's pretty awesome compared to others. And I was like, yeah, we are.
I think that for anyone here who is a student athlete, that is one of the, like a social advantage, because you have to go to practice, you have to go to team meetings. It's a built-in social group where you don't actually have to show up to other things. You basically have a family when you arrive. So there's an advantage to it.
Yes.
Tell me about class at North Greenville, Megan, how challenging it was, how much time it took from you. So talk about your academic experience.
Yeah, so academic, of course you got your freshman year, you're starting out, and you're just kind of getting your feet wet. And I didn't think it was too bad. Of course you start getting your junior and senior year and it starts being a little more fun, but it's passionate. So like once you kind of know your degree and kind of filling that out, if you want to change your degrees, that's kind of like once you have that passion, you're good. And then I guess that's what makes it different from high school to college. You actually see like, oh, I like sports, so like this is not, miserable. Like I get to study what I want.
Very funny point there that I think students need to hear. Would you agree, wherever you went to high school, don't tell me where you went, would you agree with me that in high school, it was very clear that some large chunk of people there, if they weren't being made to go, they would not be there that day?
Yeah.
They have no desire to be there. That is one of the awesome parts of college, is everyone there chose to be there. We all made the decision to come improve our lives. And so you get to be in a place where there's more universal seriousness. Like, we are here to do something big.
Yeah.
And to highlight one other thing you mentioned, when you say you get to your passion academically, first year of college students, just so you know, you're usually taking some things you might not have a ton of interest in when you're taking and you found that, right?
Very much.
Like, you came to do sports management and you were in Western Civ freshman year thinking, why am I doing Robespierre and the Reign of Terror and the French Revolution? But that's how college works, no matter where you go. So Megan, so athletically and academically, I believe you're a local, right? You grew up around here?
Absolutely.
Okay, so I thought. And so tell me about any other things you got involved with. So there was the golf, there was going to class. What else did you do at North Greenville?
I got anything from us. The opportunities are endless. I wanted to do a nonprofit. So I started up a nonprofit here and, did Vita Match and things like that. So, and you get involved with programs here. You can make up almost anything. You want something to be made, you go to somebody and say, hey, can we do something fun? Like, we have Ultimate Frisbee now, or whatever it's called. And there's a team now for that. So I got into so much. You get into so much volunteer work. You get into like anything from exercise groups or things like that. So I kind of got into a bunch of that. Majority of my time was still in golf and things like that. But it's anything. NGU has so many opportunities. It's just crazy.
What you're talking about there is what I call the show up principle.
Yeah.
So students, if you end up here, if you will show up, if you'll get out of the dorm, gentlemen, put down the Xbox controller, if you'll just show up, get to things, there's a world to go embrace, and North Greenville offers all kinds of opportunity in it. Megan, last thing for you, and I'll have you sign off. You graduated in 2019, so it's been about a year?
Yep.
Okay, so talk to a high school senior. Just 30 seconds, maybe 60 seconds. They're thinking about North Greenville. What do you think they need to know as they're thinking about being a North Greenville student?
So my main thing is, I was looking at different colleges, and the main thing that stood out to me was it was small, of course. So I knew I'd be personal with everyone, employees and professors, students, anything. So I love that part. I love, just random Joe knowing my name and helping me with that. And then I loved it because if you did have a question, it wasn't like you're in a room full of 300 people. You're in a room with 15 maybe, or maybe even less than that now. And it's just, they get your questions answered, and it's just nice. As a Christian community, if you're having hard problems, like, you can be like, hey man, I'm struggling, and people want to hear. That's the biggest thing. That's the difference between North Greenville and anyone else. People want to hear, problems or success stories or anything. So that was the big thing with North Greenville.
Megan, thank you for giving us time today. Appreciate it very much. You can go ahead and sign off there and have a good rest of the day. Students, in our final about 5 or 6 minutes here, if you do have any questions, you can use that Q&A function. And if you're watching later, just look for me, Corey Truex, on the North Greenville website. These last 5 minutes, I really just want to give you some next steps. So if you think this might be a place you want to get a closer look, the thing I want to encourage you to do is come for a visit. It's hard right now. It's a different world where some campuses are having trouble hosting visitors, and we totally get that. People are being cautious, and we are cautiously hosting. We're cautiously having events on campus and one-on-one visits. The last Saturday, we actually had 53 families visit for a preview day. On October the 12th, we have another preview day. October 12th, we're doing a preview day that morning. It's a Monday, it's Columbus Day, so some of you will have off of work. Your parents might have off a day of work, maybe school might be closed that day. even if school's not closed, you want to come out on that day, we'll give you a school excuse so you can prove that you were here. But it's a really good first look. So we do preview days. There's one October 12th and another on November 14th. That's a Saturday. And there is no better way to figure out if we're for you. The best way to figure this out is just get on campus. I advise that no matter the colleges you're thinking about, go visit 4 or 5 colleges, pick out their visit events, or go for a one-on-one, go for some kind of info session. Because typically what you'll find is you're going to get an impression of a place and know whether or not you fit in. Within an hour of walking around a place, you can know if these are your people. These are the folks that you want to spend those 4 years with, that you want to be connected with going forward. It's another thing to consider that I think North Greenville offers to you is here in that college world, we're all trying to achieve something. We are all out there trying to make something of ourselves. And the network that you want over your lifetime are other people trying to make something of themselves, other people trying to achieve. And then that alumni network, that network of people, we're all out there trying to help each other go to that next level. And so getting on campus, you tend to find within an hour, these might be my people. And bottom line, for some of you, you might come for a visit to North Greenville and your reaction is the opposite. You might come up and realize I don't think this is for me. And that's okay. Because what we always want to do is just give you an honest idea of who we are, what we're doing, what we offer, and then let you make that decision. So we have preview day on October 12th and November 14th. You're invited. We'd love to have you out. If you don't like crowds, you don't want to come to a big event, we're offering one-on-one visits Monday through Thursday. So you and a parent or both your parents or the family can come in and sit down with someone in admissions and break down every question you've got, or whatever it is you want to study. And that's actually one of the weaknesses of doing things in group settings or virtual is it's hard to find out what everybody wants to major in and talk about your one program. But that's what can happen in a one-on-one visit. You can come, sit down with somebody and talk about your academic program, your plans, where you're trying to get. So let me encourage you to do that. I do have now a question from, hi, Ms. Brown. Thank you for the question. If you put down a specific degree on your application, are you allowed to change it later if you find it's the wrong fit? Absolutely. So let me take some pressure off of you. Because freshman year is so generalized, you really don't need to know what you're going to study. If you declared one thing and even start classes in it, as long as you figure it out within a year, you really are fine. So yeah, there's no problem when class registration starts, because I'm assuming, Ms. Brown, that you've already applied to North Greenville, and thank you. That was a great decision. We're honored. We can take care of that for you. We can take care of making that change. You can get in touch with your admissions counselor, or when class registration starts next year, we can work on it. And so come visit. That was the thing. You can talk one-on-one with somebody about your major. And then also we know there's always some concern around scholarships, financial aid. And so we want to be able to break down those numbers for you. I always want to mention this, of the Christian colleges, it is very rare, especially in this state, that you will get all of what this college experience is. You'll get all that North Greenville has to offer for less than you get it at North Greenville. If you look around at tuition, room, and board at other Christian colleges, we're not just competitive, we're almost always going to win. We're almost always going to be the most affordable. But that's not the reason to choose North Greenville. The reason to choose North Greenville is because we're about you. The reason to choose North Greenville is because we are trying to affect the world around us by making you an excellent leader. That's the reason. Because we've got a mission so that we're trying to accomplish, and you want to be a part of it. You want to achieve something for yourself, and in that realm, it corresponds to what North Greenville University is trying to do. Now, it helps that along the way, we were quite affordable compared to other Christian colleges. And so I want you to know that that's the scholarships and aids available to you, and we can break that down for you line by line by line if you come for a one-on-one visit. And then the final thing for me is, if you are a senior and you have not yet applied and you are hearing my voice, you're invited to apply. We'd love for you to actually get that application in so we can start working with you. In about a month, we're going to be starting up financial aid processes and award letters. And so now's the time to go ahead and start getting those applications in. Final word is ngo.edu. ngo.edu. You can find me, Corey Truax. You can find the entire admissions office. We're glad to help with questions as you're working through the process of where you want to go to college. And bring some friends along with you. If you decide to come visit, the more, the merrier, as we might say. Thanks for watching our session here from CACRAO. I hope it's been informative and good for you. And I hope to see you on campus soon. I believe our facilitator will be coming back here in just a moment to do a couple housekeeping things to finish up. actually, President Cat, there he is. President Cash is here to finish up for us.
Oh, I was muted. Thank you so much for joining us today. When you close this window, you'll receive a link to a short 4-question survey. We appreciate any feedback that you can provide for us. Also, keep in mind, this is just one of many sessions that will be going on for the next several weeks, and you can view the full schedule at CACRAO.org. That's CACRAO.org. And in about a week, you'll be able to view this and all other recordings online at that same website, CACRAO.org. Thanks again for joining us. Thank you, Mr. Truex, and
Hey, man. Bye.
enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.